Hey guys, welcome back to Super Switch U. It's now like 3 days since the launch of Switch 2. Um, and I can tell you, it's pretty freaking amazing. If you guys haven't gotten to try it, uh, definitely keep your eyes out for a chance to get one, because I recommend it. Even though, uh, a few of the games were maybe a little bit less than I was expecting, I might have had my hopes a little bit too high. It's still an amazing console. Just having that bigger screen with the much better quality and resolution, and it's hard to explain it without just seeing it. But it's amazing to have that in your hands, and that magnetic grip holding those on, like it's so much better because the other way, like it was fine for a while. After some time, some wear and tear, it got a little wobbly. So, but it is what it is. Not fully what we were gonna talk about. Like we're talking Switch 2 stuff, obviously. That's all I've been talking about. So, you kind of sit back for that one. But not specifically the console. Um, Two things I want to kind of address today. Um, One of those being Switch 2 camera, and the fact that you don't actually need a Switch 2 specific camera or even the stuff that Nintendo put out. USB webcams will work just fine. I don't know that all of them work, but I'll show you which one I've been using because working on Welcome Tour just to knock it out and maybe never touch it again. Um, I got to the point where it showed off the camera, and I got curious because people online were saying you could use any camera, or at least specific like types of cameras and whatever. Um, this is what I've been using. Right, it's just a regular USB webcam. My wife got this from an at-home job she was working for a while, and they didn't like fight us to take it back or whatever. It's only what 720p is what it says on there if you look real close. Yeah. Um, yeah, webcam. Looking at a webcam. That's webcamception. But anyway, so it's got this neat little thing here, so I can actually get it to rest right on top of the Switch 2, and it just sits, and it's not hard on it because there's a little cushion right there, but it sits there, and it was working just fine to play at least one of the mini games, which actually turned out to be pretty fun. So I'll do like a better review for Welcome to Her later. Uh, but this one particular mini game, it's got like this round yellow face, and you use your own face to control it to match an expression that they show on the screen. So like it could be turned up like at this angle with eyebrows like way up here, tongue sticking out, and then you've got to match that as close as you can. Press the A button, and then it will score it as close to it as possible. Mario parties have done a mini game like that, but without camera to like match it up. You're just kind of pulling a face until it looks right. Same concept, but you use your own face and look like a fool while you do it. But it was actually kind of fun, and this did a well enough job. I can't say it was fully accurate, and that might just be because of the camera itself. It could also be the fact that I've got the TV mounted like way up here, and it's sitting down here, and so I had to like sit close to the ground so it could catch my face, but then look up and try to see what I was doing. So there's probably a better setup for this than that. But if I can get this camera in the right place, I think we might have something. And then we also tested it with uh, Mario Kart World, and because we had friends over yesterday, we did a cookout. It was awesome, fun time. And so while we were playing Mario Kart, we decided, hey, you know what? Let's turn that camera on and see how that works, because it started to give the option for it. Without a camera plugged in, it doesn't pop up this little box. But when there is, it says, hey, we detected a camera. Would you like to use the camera features? And it goes into somewhat detail or whatever. And then you can say yes or no. And so then it takes your face as like a little round circle, and it focuses right on the spot that you're sitting at whenever you set it up. So you pick, like, this is where my face is at, so it just hooks onto that one spot, and it can do that at least up to 4 people, because it's what we did. And yeah, whenever they pass you and they're like ahead of you or whatever, you see their face and what they're doing at the time, which is kind of neat. Not something I'd say you like have to have for playing it, but it's cool. Like, it was a fun time. So yeah, if you got a Switch 2 and you were like me and you're thinking, man, $54 is way too much for a camera, and I don't really feel like I'm going to use it, man, just find you like a cheap little webcam, little camera. If you got something sitting around, test it, because chances are it might work. It may not be the greatest thing, but it could work. So definitely, like, I recommend doing that versus spending $50+ for another camera that you don't have to have. The other thing that I wanted to talk about today, Sega might have actually learned their lesson a little bit. And I say this because there was a trailer put out this last week during Game Fest for Sonic Racing Crossworlds. And at the end of this trailer, it showed off the different cases, and I think it was something about the special edition or whatever, but you could see it, and the Switch 2 case did not have the game keycard thing across the bottom. I didn't zoom in like to read it or whatever, but it looked like it was the Switch 2 edition text going across the bottom. And if they fully put this thing on the cartridge as a Switch 2 edition, it may not be the perfect solution to that, being like a exclusive Switch 2 fully physical cartridge, but it's a step in the right direction, because it's not a key card if that's the case. So we'll have to like keep looking out for that, but it's hopeful. Whenever Sega released 3 games on launch day, and then one that's coming out at the end of the month, and all of them are game key cards. It was not looking good, but with Crossworlds maybe being a physical Switch 2 edition, maybe they saw the backlash. Maybe everybody's hatred for key cards are like, okay, maybe we won't be able to sell these things, so we'll just take our losses on those games, and let's do Switch 2 editions and see how that works. And I don't know. I can't say for sure because I'm not Sega. It's just speculation and wishful thinking at this point. But I can also say I've been into 3 stores now after the craziness of launch day. So this was yesterday and today. Went into my local GameStop, went to a Walmart in Chandler, and a Walmart in Midwest City. And they still had copies, a decent amount of copies of Yakuza, and copies left over of Sonic and Shadow Generations. So they obviously didn't sell out of these things. However, Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 was strangely absent. There's a tag, like a price tag, and a spot for it to go. Only one. Most of the Switch 2 games got like 2 slots. This thing had 1 slot. It was empty, both at Chandler and at Midwest City Walmarts. And I wonder if either there was just limited stock, if they didn't get it at all, or if somehow that game sold out like crazy, maybe just because it's like the most kid-friendly option and it was $40. I couldn't tell you, because it was definitely not on my radar of things to buy. Being a 5-year-old game, playable through backwards compatibility, I don't know. I don't know. But if any of you guys picked up Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S, let me know in the comments. Like, what made you decide on the purchase, and if it's even worth it. Because maybe I'm giving it too much crap, but I do know that its changes were like mouse control and camera functions. And in a Puyo Puyo game or a Tetris game, that's it's not something that I feel like is even necessary, and definitely not something people are just like screaming for. I would think that that would be more story mode, different play modes, something, different characters could have been. I don't know. Maybe I'm just out of touch on the puzzle game scene. But what I can say is hopefully Sega doesn't do too many more of those game key cards going forward. Otherwise, I'm just not going to support it. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I can't justify it. Like, maybe not to never buy these key card games, but not to buy that version of it. Might as well go all digital if you're going to get the digital anyway. Because why would you want to stick the cartridge in if you're still going to have to download it and take up the memory and all the stupid things? So, it's whatever. Whatever. We'll talk about more stuff, but I didn't really watch the Xbox showcase. I've saw snippets. Really disappointing with the lack of Switch 2 stuff at an Xbox showcase. But, yeah, so I'll go ahead and call it for today. And so hit that like button, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about this Sega key cards camera function. Any of those. And I will see you guys next time.